They call me at, sometimes Set, but mostly just Rocks. And you're listening to Ceterox. Let's talk about anything and everything till we reach the end of our thinking capacity. I'm actually thinking of changing up my intro just so it feels more natural. But then again, life's better with a little system in it. Just so you know, we have a little something to guide us through. I am recording this episode late. And so that's why it's going to be uploaded late. But we'll be back on our regular schedule, hopefully starting next week. I actually recorded this episode already, but I decided to discard it because at the time I wasn't in a very good headspace. I went through a lot of tangents just because there were just like a bunch of things happening here and there, and it started sounding like a rant episode. Not like my other episodes don't already sound like it, but I'm in a sort of level-headed-ish headspace right now, so I may sound a little dull, but I'm good. Now, another reason why I was late was because the Philippines was recently hit by Typhoon Ulysses, and that's one of the craziest typhoons I've experienced to date, but also in a sense that I just want to mention how grateful I am that we're safe where we are right now at home. Although we did experience very, very light flooding on our second floor balcony, but that's it. And then we didn't have electricity for an entire day, so I had to take an emergency leave from work. So I spent that whole day just cleaning at home and just kind of embracing the offline life a little more, just because we didn't have electricity at all. And then the following day I had to report back to work, and that was supposedly the day that I should be uploading an episode if we're gonna follow our regular schedule. And that was yesterday actually. And yesterday was just a little bit exhausting for me, just because I had to cope and sort of catch up on what I missed at work. So I was just all sorts of stressed yesterday. So when the day ended, I I just called like a massage therapist, and I got ventosa, or I think it's called cupping in English. And I haven't had cupping in a very long time. So it felt like a whole new experience for me. And I don't know, I just thought I'd share a little background why we're late again. And just I guess head on to our episode. And since this episode's theme is about trending Tuesdays, I thought it's pretty cool. Not cool. I think it's pretty relevant to discuss current situations around the world, although that's not going to be like the main topic for this episode. I just thought I really want to mention a little bit of what's going on in the world, since it's been kind of crazy, but like focusing mainly on like Philippines. Actually, before Ulysses, we also had like another storm that hit the country. And like, while I'm super grateful that we don't have anything to worry about where we are, it's really sad to see other places that had been affected by flooding, and then there were a lot of people who died. Like earlier, around like lunchtime, they were talking about there was this one area in the Philippines that was really heavily flooded. And then I think it was like a power, like an electricity tower or something that exploded, and then it like fell in the flood, and then people died of electrocution. And that was just so horrible to imagine, that there were floating corpses on the and it's a little bit difficult to discuss it, but and then apparently Mayon volcano is on like active like alert. So apparently it's like on a verge of an eruption. I don't know, it's kind of terrifying. But well, according to the news, it had like clouds on its crater after the typhoon. It says that, you know, it's the news here says it's attractive but dangerous, but like it says it's a highly active stratovolcano with it could be more dangerous when it erupts again, sending thousands of residents to various evacuation camps. And it's really sad to think of, because earlier this year, just in January, the Taal volcano erupted, and like, and considering that the Philippines is located in the Ring of Fire, you know, for those who don't know, it's like a geographical location where there's, you know, a lot of volcanoes and tectonic plates. So we're really in like a hot spot for earthquakes in the world. And I don't really know what to think about it much right now. But yeah, I don't want to get too much into like the sad stuff, but that is the reality of what's happening in the world right now. As if the C word pandemic isn't already crazy as it is. I feel very privileged to be able to do what I'm just doing right now, even though it may seem uninteresting or nothing grand to other people. But the fact that I don't have to worry about my home, the food that I eat, the clothes on my back is more than enough for me to feel all this privilege of just being alive. Anyway, I don't want to make this episode too depressing, but yes, it is what it is. I just thought, yeah, you guys should know, or at least, you know, I'll have it on record on this episode. I don't know how to segue into this, so maybe I'll just insert like a musical pause somewhere, and then I'm just gonna re-record in a while just so I can segue nicely. While I'm recording this episode, my cat is actually by my foot. So I'm sitting on my bed, and then I have like a table set up. So underneath the table, my cat is just sleeping and chilling there. So maybe later you'll be hearing cat sounds, then you'll know why. So for this episode of Trending Tuesdays, I actually just want to talk about my favorite stuff, which is basically media or like things to watch. Now, I've already discussed on the second episode about my favorite movie genre, which if you don't already know, listen to episode 2 on Zom Rom-Coms. That sounded like a weird attempt for a commercial ad. Ew. And I mentioned that I want to talk about my favorite what do you call this? I wanted to talk about my favorite TV shows, right? Since I already discussed I mentioned already a few TV shows that I've completed on that episode, just because it's related to the genre, I thought I'd share with you the remaining parts of the list. And I know that this episode would technically belong on a Media Monday, since about media and stuff. I thought it would pretty much still fit the bill of Trending Tuesdays, since Netflix or whatever on-demand streaming platform is popular today is sort of trending, especially with the C word going on. So I think it's pretty trendy and relevant in a way to just talk about what TV shows I've been watching or which TV shows I have already completed. But just for the sake of staying on theme, I'm just gonna share with you the shows that I am currently watching. Now, this isn't like limited to just live action TV shows, since I this is just like the current shows that are still ongoing. So it's like a mix of everything. But if I'm just gonna talk about everything that I've completed in terms of like category, then that's where I'll divide them into like different episodes. Yeah. Anyway, so these are the shows that I'm currently watching, and I guess they're in this particular order of what's already available and which upcoming seasons I'm waiting for. So anyway, I'm on top of my list. I have One Piece, and as of this recording, I am waiting to watch episode 944 onwards. I'm sure there's already like a lot of episodes available, but I just want to like compile them so I can binge watch them, since One Piece is a really long show. Anyway, and I've already kind of spoiled myself on like what happened in this arc. If for those who watch One Piece, then yeah, you probably get it. Anyway, then we have another anime which is ReZero, but this is season 2. And I know the part 1 of season 2 is already out, but I want to wait for part 2 to be complete before I start season 2, just so I can watch it all at once, because I don't really like to watch shows that are ongoing episode per episode. I prefer them to just come all at once, at least one whole season, so I can binge watch them, because I think that's pretty cool. And then I heard that the final season of Attack on Titan is coming, but I'm just not sure what year or when it's coming, considering how everything is right now in the world. But according to Google, good old Google, the original release is supposedly on December 7th this year. And I'm just gonna anticipate that. Okay, sorry for that pause. I was just reading the articles. And then I actually read a article online about Dexter making a comeback. Dexter is it's one of the shows that I'll be talking about later, but I'm just gonna mention that I'm anticipating that it's going to have a 10 episode revival after 8 years of being on break, and I am just so hyped for that because, well, since we're already on the topic, I might as well just let you guys know that I recently also watched like a revival season of The X-Files, and I'm just gonna go crazy with talking about X-Files later. So it's just pretty cool about how these old shows that I used to watch are just making their comeback and, you know, just living the good old days. But in this case, Dexter isn't considered a good old day. Anyway, I'm just gonna go quickly into my list. Then we have Stranger Things season 4. Pretty excited for that. Season 3 was a horrible cliffhanger, but considering that they've posted a bunch of teasers and trailers, they kind of just like spoiled the whole anticipation of, you know, what to expect on the show. But I'm still gonna follow it either way because, yeah, I like Stranger Things. And then I also have Lost in Space season 3. This is probably gonna take a while, but because for some reason, yeah, like with production and all being, you know, taking a while to come back. And if you don't already notice, most of these shows that I'm going to be mentioning are available on Netflix, or if it's not available on Netflix, then yeah, you can just Google where to find it. And then This Is Us season 5. really cry show. Uh, since a lot of these are ongoing, I might as well just mention what I like about these shows. I've already talked about One Piece on my previous episode, and probably ReZero as well, and Attack on Titan. I'll talk about Dexter later, and Stranger Things. I just enjoyed the whole kids and like 80s sort of vibe, and like the supernatural stuff. Then Lost in Space, for some reason, just really clicked with me, and it gave me a lot of feels too. There's for some I don't really feel particularly attached to it, but I've already started watching it, so I'm just committing myself to it, and it's a decent show. If it on a my anime list ranking, I'd give it like maybe a 6. Or, if I'm being generous, yeah, that's a 6. But probably just like a 5. Like, it's not horrible, but it's not like super duper great either, but I watch it. Then This Is Us. It's my very ideal slice of life kind of show. I feel like every episode I'm just crying over something. It's a really feels TV show. And, Mandy Moore's in it. I think Mandy Moore's like in terms of like A-list celebrities or something that people would know, it's Mandy Moore. But there's a lot of great story behind it that if you gotta check in with yourself whether you have a heart or not, you should watch This Is Us. Okay, I'm also waiting for season 17 of Grey's Anatomy. Yes, I'm still going strong with Grey's Anatomy, and I haven't really discussed that particularly on this podcast, but this is perhaps the oldest show that I'm currently watching. It's then we have The Good Doctor season 4, another hospital like medical related TV show, and I guess in a way hopefully The Good Doctor will go on for more seasons. It sort of like fills in the gaping hole that Grey's Anatomy will leave once it's over, and I hope not, but yeah, that's the truth of things. Things have to come to an end one way or another. Then we have Young Sheldon season 4, another hole filler since The Big Bang Theory ended last year, I think. And then, or was it this year? Then I recently just finished The Umbrella Academy season 2 and currently waiting for season 3. Yeah. So that's it for the current shows that I'm watching. And okay, I may have forgotten to explain the other things that I'm watching. Umbrella Academy is like a superhero TV show created by Gerard Way. Well, not necessarily superhero, but they do have superpowers. And it's like about saving the world from the apocalypse. And boy, every time their season finales always gives me goosebumps, just because I have an irrational fear of the apocalypse. Well, regular people may call it irrational, but as somebody who believes in a doomsday or like apocalypse, I tend to freak out easily over that. But I guess I'll talk about that in a different episode about my phobias or something, or things that I'm scared of, or just sharing like my belief on why the apocalypse is scary to me. Anyway, moving on to the shows that I have completed. Now, I had technical errors also on the previous episode. I kind of listed it down here, and I already mentioned that why I discarded the previous recording, and I just felt pretty lazy afterwards to do it since it was already pretty much the end of the day. Although the time of recording this, this was pretty much the same time that I recorded the lost episode, but that's fine. And anyway, this TV shows I'm gonna talk about is mostly in English, or I watched them all in English, and I'm going to exclude Asian and foreign dramas and film because it's impossible to fit them in one video. And I'm also gonna exclude childhood childhood shows that I can't remember, except for a notable few that I either rewatched them or like I grew up watching them, and like I completed it like all the way till it's like last episodes ish. So, but then on that note, since we're just talking about childhood shows, I just want to like quickly mention this top three show. Well, not top three, but there's a few cartoons in my mind that I'm probably gonna discuss in another episode if it's worth talking about for an hour. But I just remember my childhood shows being like Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, SpongeBob SquarePants, and then if I change the channel, it'd be like Martin Mystery, Totally Spies, and Kim Possible. And then if I change the channel again, it would be Courage the Cowardly Dog, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and the Powerpuff Girls or something. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I love cartoons. I'd probably talk about them in another episode if I could, but right now I guess I just thought that those are worth mentioning. I watched those episodes a lot, but I wouldn't say I've completed them from start to finish, just because I watched them on television. So it's a little bit kind of off there somewhere. And when it comes to like live action TV shows, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot that we can talk about. Like, for example, I'm not scared of talking about channel names. So there's Nickelodeon, like Teen Nick. There's like Drake and Josh. Just on top of mine, there's like Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, iCarly, Victorious. I mean, just to name a few. There's a billion other shows to mention. And then there's Disney Channel's Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, the Phil of the Future, and then Even Stevens. There's also like, I don't remember Cartoon Network having any live action TV shows except for like live action movies. Like, to name one is like Ben 10. But I remember those TV shows. Those were like good days. And since we're already on the subject of like cartoons, I guess I'll start with the cartoons or English TV shows that I've finished that were animated. And to start it all off, let's start with Adventure Time. Adventure Time, I learned about Adventure Time from like my sister, because my sister was the one who recommended Adventure Time to me. Even though my high school friends were pretty much into Adventure Time, I couldn't really get into it that much yet, because at the time I was watching those shows that I mentioned earlier. And Adventure Time at the time just seemed like a hype to me, so I didn't really feel super into it. Okay, I just paused for a little bit because I thought somebody was knocking on the door. And yeah. Then once I started Adventure Time, now I could totally see why people were watching it. And although each episode was like 10 minutes short, and sometimes like the episodes don't even feel like they're in chronological order, they are in a way connected to the same like timeline. And if I'm gonna be quite frank, I don't actually get half of what's happening on Adventure Time, but either way, I just want to watch them for like the feels, or how each episode like just turns out and how it's gonna relate to the big whole story. And even though it ended, there's still like a lot of loopholes that I'm not fully aware of. But yeah, either way, I just watched Adventure Time. And then next here is we have Steven Universe and Steven Universe Future. Now this show was more my cup of tea, because for starters, songs, a lot of songs on this show. And other than that, I just love the whole focusing on social issues, but in a kid's cartoon. And then I guess a lot about self-discovery, self-growth, relationships, all in kids show, to be honest. The show was pretty deep for somebody who likes to watch like cartoon for their harmless and innocent just innocent themes. But then now that I think about it, if you watch cartoons as a grown-up, you'd probably see the nuances that most kids wouldn't really get. So in a way, it's kind of like cool, since they teach you about social issues without diving too much into social issues, or without being too heavy on the subject. And then there's another show that wasn't really on TV, but I watched this because it was available on their YouTube channel, but it's called Bee and Puppycat. I've heard this from Michelle Phan, and when she mentioned it on her video, I just straight away went and binged watched it. And then like Bee and Puppycat, I think, were produced by Frederator, if I'm not mistaken, and it's like the same creator of Steven Universe. I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong, but they shared the same. Okay, it's not the same creator, but they have the same look in terms of like animation, I guess. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's a pretty cute show. It's also really short, and it's definitely worth a watch if you just want to check out something like different for once, and just something cute. That's the only way I could put it. And then next, I put here Avatar. I would put here 1 and 2 because there's Legend of Aang and Legend of Korra. And I think no, I got this on DVD. That's the reason why I was able to finish the show. As for Legend of Korra, I was able to finish the show on TV, like growing up, because those were like the shows. And for those who don't know Avatar, no, we're not talking about the quote-unquote highest grossing movie of all time. I'm not sure if that's still accurate as of this moment. It's about this like the world where people can bend the elements, earth, water, fire, and air. And the Avatar is this individual that can control all elements and bring peace and harmony to the world. So it's about all that like life mission and all that. It's a pretty good show, actually, and it's pretty cool that my dad likes it, because my dad isn't really the type to stick to TV shows, but he watched Avatar from end to finish on DVD, and he just wanted to like watch season 2 already, but we don't have season 2 available. But maybe it's available for streaming online, I'm not sure. So I don't okay, I feel like I'm a little bit too chill right now to be able to like discuss or talk a lot about the TV shows that I've watched. For some reason, like I feel a little bit too calm, too hype up over the episode compared to my energy on the last episode. But Avatar, well, maybe that's just me as a person, but I get a lot of feels whenever I watch any TV shows. And most probable reason why I watch a TV show is the ability to give me the feels, because some TV shows don't really stick with me, or I just feel bored too fast before I could give them the chance to entertain me. Yeah, that sounds super duper weird, but that's me. And comparing Legend of Aang and Legend of Korra, I just prefer Legend of Aang just because it's like the OG. And while Legend of Korra has its own like pretty cool like points too, especially how it connects with like season 1, I feel like it's just like, it's just another sequel, and that if I want to like it, it needs to have like a third season. So, creators of Avatar, just maybe season 3, please. And it's pretty cool to see. It's so sad that, it's every after like few generations before a new Avatar is like born or made or what. So it's kind of sad that you won't be able to see avatars together unless it's in like the spirit world or spirit realm. Is that what it's called? But enough about Avatar, I guess. And then let's proceed to Daria. Daria. I first heard of Daria because of MTV. It's a channel. And then I watched Daria as a grown-up. And Daria reminds me of Emily the Strange. And I'm not sure when I'll ever talk about Emily the Strange on this podcast. But Emily the Strange is one of my favorite fictional characters of, like, what do you call it? Fictional characters in literature. Apart from Sherlock Holmes. Maybe I'll have an episode on books that I like or I used to collect. So I'll be able to talk about Emily the Strange. Let me just get a yawn in. Hi. I just yawned. Sorry about that. And Daria is a very cynical character, but she reminds me of myself in terms of being an introvert. Kind of cynical in the sense that, I hate the world, people are horrible, or like losing faith in humanity sort of thing. And while she seems like an odd character to the people in the show, I feel like a lot of people can relate to her in real life just because people struggle a lot socially. I'm not sure if that's just me or a handful of people, but I could totally resonate with her character. So it was a lot of reason for me to watch. And then I also really just enjoy the whole... I like to read quotes like by Daria, and just looking at it right now, it's really funny because, well, it's not something I would probably say in real life all the time, but it's something I would say maybe in passing, and it would feel so natural. So it's like some of the things she says here is like, I don't like to smile unless I have a reason. Do you think if you breathe on me, I might catch your enthusiasm? I've been busy procrastinating all day. And I'm so defensive that I actually work to make people dislike me so I won't feel bad when they do. Sometimes your shallowness is so thorough, it's almost like depth. Use your womanly attributes. Gotcha, I'll give birth. I like Daria. I should probably rewatch her or something. I don't know. I prefer to be alone to understand my feelings. There's no moment in life that can't be improved with pizza. Thank you. I didn't even like kids when I was a kid. Oh, and also like Jane, her bestie on the show is like also really quotable. It's like, I'm succeeding at failing. You're coming off all observant and honest, antisocial. Yikes. I love this. I love Daria. It's just super duper relatable. And I accidentally closed all my tabs. Anyway, that's already like the major reason why I watch Daria, for all the cynicism. And I find it... Oh, hi dog. I find it pretty much like comedic because of, just how relatable it seems for like a person who gets all negative about life, especially when a lot of horrible things are happening in the world. And yeah, let's just proceed with the show. Then I have here Ben 10. And I'm not just talking about the original Ben 10. I'm also talking about Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and Omniverse. Yes, I was that crazy for Ben 10. I used to judge my brother because he was the first one who got into Ben 10. But I'm the one who just, who continued it on afterwards. And that was a really competitive show. that got me hooked on Cartoon Network. But I'm just glad afterwards we were able to get Ben 10 on DVD, so I could watch all the seasons in order. And then I just got along with all the episodes onwards. But I guess what I didn't like about Ben 10 is how after they completed the shows until Ultimate Alien, they went back to Ben 10 Omniverse, where they kind of changed up the cartoon a little bit, and then it goes back in time when he was still a kid, and then he had different aliens here since it's the Omniverse. So it's like an alternate reality, I guess. But it's still pretty cool since I like Benton and everything. I just feel like there's still a lot of loopholes I wish I knew about Benton. What else is there? I don't really know what else there's to say. Oh, I kind of forgot to include Ben 10 Alien Swarm. But I think Alien Swarm was a movie, and then there's also that Race Against Time kind of movie. But that was a live action. Yeah, those are the live action movies. Ben 10 Race Against Time and Ben 10 Alien Swarm. Is there any other new Ben 10s that I'm not aware of? Secret of the Omniverse. Ooh, Ben 10 versus the Universe, the movie 2020. I didn't know about this. Okay, now I do. So, there's a little something that I need to add to my watch list. Yay! Anywho. So, I really love Ben 10. So, it probably pretty much explains why I like my other shows. Like, The End Puppycat, Steven Universe, Adventure Time, and some of the current shows I'm watching, like Stranger Things, Lost in Space, Umbrella Academy. I guess in a way I like superhero stuff without getting into the actual superhero stuff, which I'll probably talk about in another episode, why I don't watch any DCEU or MCU related TV shows. But to just completely summarize, there's too many of them and they're pretty long, so I can't commit. I'm gonna lose half of my life just trying to catch up with all of that. And as much as I love comics, I can't afford to collect everything and just keep up with everything, so I'm just gonna work with what I have. Yeah, but I already know that they're good. I'm just saying that I can't commit to it, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Then next here I have Gravity Falls, another related to the paranormal or supernatural kind of genre. And I don't really, for some reason, I just suck at explaining things right now. But Gravity Falls was also pretty short for my taste. I just hope it lasted longer, because there's a lot of good characters and side stories that they could have gone into more depth. So it's a bit upsetting how they didn't really last that long, but in a way it's kind of okay too, since we gotta have something to end with. So I guess earlier is what they chose. Okay, I don't know, I'm running out of English, I'm running out of explanations, and we still have a lot of shows to discuss, and this is just the cartoons. And I'd like to say I completed Totally Spies, because I did watch up to the last episode, but I'm rewatching Totally Spies at the moment on YouTube because they have it available on their official channel, and I'm currently back on season 5, and if I'm not mistaken, Totally Spies ends in season 6 before it starts the other show, The Amazing Spies. Is that it? And then I'm just looking at the related content, related things, and I'm just seeing if this show Team Galaxy is related to Totally Spies. Probably not. Ooh, interesting. I'm just seeing all these other shows that I used to watch but didn't really get to finish. But I guess that's I can't start a new cartoon right now. I'm not in this phase of things right now. Like I said, I go through different phases, and right now I'm in the J drama phase. So maybe I'll come back to this a little bit later. So that's like the last English language cartoon animated show that is not anime that I'm currently that I've completed. So let's go into the live action. And since I've already mentioned this on episode 2, you can just go give it a listen so I don't have to spend another 10 minutes repeating myself. That sounds mean. I've watched iZombie and The Strain, and since they're zombie related, yeah, you can check it out if you want or don't. It's up to you. Then next is we have Sherlock. I've already mentioned earlier how Sherlock is my favorite fictional character. Thank you, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And I have a confession to make. As much as I love Sherlock, I haven't read a single book by Sherlock Holmes. And I plan to in the future, perhaps when I'm gray and old, just to finally free myself from the guilt. But either way, I love the BBC adaptation of Sherlock starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. It was pretty short, but I guess I can be satisfied with 3 seasons with 3 episodes each, 1 hour in length each. But I can understand too why they decided not to prolong it. Just, keep it short and sweet, but enough to just get everybody hooked on it. I guess I just compensate by watching every other Sherlock Holmes related media out there. Lately I've watched Enola Holmes, and then there's like Young Sherlock, and I rewatched this literature piece that I did in high school called An Inspector Calls. That's also a pretty good show. Well, that was actually just a movie, a really long movie, but also related to like the whole detective genre. So apart from like all those I guess justice related, like superhero or superpowers related shows, I also really like detective, not necessarily police, but something to do with mysteries, investigations, and crime and stuff like that. Yeah. And no, before you ask, I don't watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm sorry. Then next here we have another classic literature related TV show called Anne with an E. And another confession to make, I haven't read Anne of Green Gables. Is that what it's called? The original book? But I just love this adaptation because despite being a literary or like classic piece, they do discuss a lot of modern societal issues, or at least back in the day, and they portrayed it on that show just to show people of today how horrible it was back then for women, for children, the inequality, how crazy patriarchy can get. And I love the whole romance there, pretty visuals. Is this episode gonna go to trash again? I don't know. I'm tired at this point. I just want it to be over, but then at the same time I just want to be able to share something. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like we're gonna get off schedule eventually, but right now I'm committing to once a week, so here we are. I guess I'm just gonna keep things brief since there's a lot more shows to discuss, and apparently we're reaching the 45-minute mark. That's cool, I guess. Okay, and then we have How I Met Your Mother. See, apart from all the extreme stuff, I kind of like something just funny or relaxed, or slice of life. Why do I call it slice of life? Slice of life is an anime genre, isn't it? But I guess in a way it's just, something that's plausible to happen in real life. That's why I say it's slice of life. Then I have How I Met Your Mother. It's another show recommended by my sister. And we watched it together, but then I just ended up watching it on my own to catch up since when she was watching it, it was still ongoing, and I just watched some episodes along with her. Then I decided to start from the beginning, just so I could like understand the whole context of what's going on. And the ending is pretty frustrating to me. I'm not sure if everybody else would agree, but it is what it is, I guess. And then we have The Big Bang Theory, another recommendation by my sister. Yeah, so I guess a lot of my TV show taste comes from my sister or my mom, since Grey's Anatomy came from my mom. It was a recommendation from her, even though she doesn't catch up to it anymore. Then The Big Bang Theory, super funny, super geeky, super nerdy. I don't know how else to put it. Watch it if you know, I don't know, just watch it. It's pretty funny. I like it. And then we have The Office. Oh, The Office is super duper cute. It would seem like a boring comedy kind of show because of their setting, but it's so heartwarming and at the same time funny. And I like it. I like The Office. I watched that back in high school together with 30 Rock and like Parks and Recreation, just because for some reason they all had similar settings, although they didn't really have the same synopsis. 30 Rock was like a satire, I guess. What is it called, a satire? But I could relate to it a lot as a communication graduate about what life's like in production, especially with theater. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to share the tea on theater with you guys, but that's for another episode. Well, if there's anybody in real life who knows me and knows about my theater story, I'm just sharing it for the lols. I have nothing against whatever's happened in the past. You know, it's all there. You know, we're just looking back at it as some sort of way to reminisce memories and stuff like that. Anyway, then there's Parks and Recreation. Very cute. Really funny. That's where the meme Don't Be Suspicious came from, for people who may not know. So, yeah. I really like that meme. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Okay, I'm not gonna do that right now. And then we have the IT Crowd. It reminds me of, it's like an old school Big Bang Theory TV show, just because it's also a bunch of nerds. It's super duper cute. It's actually quite short, and it's a UK TV show, if I'm not mistaken. And then their humor is so dry, but at the same time it's so funny. I love different kinds of humor which kind of reflect on how my humor is in real life. If it isn't dorky, it's dry, it's dark, or demeaning, or degrading. That sounds evil. Okay, just apologizing in advance and moving on to like the next show, because I don't want to say something I'll regret. Then we have Dexter. Okay, Dexter was kind of like a wild card for me. I never thought I'd watch Dexter, but I know I'd love Dexter, and I do love Dexter. As a TV show, I know I do not condone crime or being a psychopath or being a serial killer or intense cussing in less than 10 seconds. But Dexter is a really good show. It's about this blood analyst who is actually a serial killer by hobby. I guess that's a way to describe it. But a lot of memes also come from that show, like surprise mother. Yep, I'm not gonna complete that phrase. I don't want to be demonetized or censored or be inappropriate for kids. Also, I try not to cuss, so there's that. Dexter is super cool. I love Dexter. I'd probably rewatch Dexter before watching the season revival or something. Oh my gosh, Dexter's so good. Then next here I have Hannibal. Yeah, so if you watched what's that movie called? Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. It's about Hannibal Lecter, and this one is with Hugh Dancy and Mads Mikkelsen. I'm not sure if I got the name right. Yeah, Hugh Dancy. Okay, I got it right. And pretty good show. It's kind of silent but violent force. The cinematography is really good. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of things happening, but on like a psychological aspect and just like how the storyline is moving, Hannibal is a pretty crazy show. Then we have 13 Reasons Why. It ended this year, if I'm not mistaken, during lockdown. They released the final season. I feel like the final season was just a little bit off, but then it's good how they explored every single aspect just to close all loose ends, and so just so everybody could move on with their lives since high school was ending for them. And while I didn't actually read the book, I listened to the ebook back in high school. I guess it was just a little bit too much. I like the show, actually. I did like the show, but for some people it would be too much to go overboard on like the books, the original books, like storyline. But then since they were working with the original author, is it J. Asher, if I'm not mistaken? And if I'm not mistaken also, what do you call this? Selena Gomez produces that show as well, right? I'm not sure. I'm a little bit I'm just guessing a little bit right now. I'm feeling sleepy. Hi. Sorry about that. I'm feeling sleepy, but I'm starting to get the energy just when the episode is about to end, but that's the way it is around here, isn't it? Anyway, I'm just gonna like move on since we're like almost done with this. I just have like just a few more shows that I want to share. So just moving on. But I mean, 13 Reasons Why, it's one of the trendy shows. So if you don't already know the story, it's very sensitive in terms of teenage mental health, because it covers a lot on there's dogs barking. It covers on suicide, abuse, bullying. It's a lot of very harsh realities that maybe not everyone, but a lot of people has gone through, and they were pretty graphic on the TV show. So I guess that's why I say it's a bit too much, but I watched it anyway. So there's that. Okay, I'm just gonna move on to the next show, and we're down to the last 4. So here we have another superhero, and this is probably the only superhero that's related to Marvel or /DC. And this, to be more specific, this is DC, and I'm talking about Smallville. I watched Smallville since it was like a childhood show, and we had it on DVD. That's the only reason why I was able to watch it from start to finish. And I guess it was about Superman's life before he became Superman, hence the title Smallville. And Tom Welling is just the perfect Superman. I can't. He's already so old but still so good looking. I can't believe he's 43 years old. Anyway. This is weird. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about Smallville. That's where I discovered Christine Crook as Lana Lang. Super duper pretty. And I like how she portrayed Chun-Li in Street Fighter adaptation. And if I'm gonna watch anything related to video games or superheroes, I prefer like movies over TV shows, which is probably why when I talk about movies, like superhero movies, then that's something you should know in advance. Okay, I'm yawning again. I'm sleepy. I'm gonna take a nap after this. Then next here we have the X-Files, another show recommended by my mom, but I'm the one who managed to finish it. From start to finish. We also have this on DVD. That's why I was able to watch it. And then the X-Files, it's also one of the reasons why I love all this genre mixed together. Crime and investigation, paranormal slash supernatural stuff. I guess X-Files started it all, huh? Okay. You'll probably be hearing my dog in the background, so I'm just gonna pause quickly. Anyway, we have 5 minutes left before this episode reaches the hour mark, and I just have 2 more shows to talk about, and I'm gonna leave this next show last and just skip to Once Upon a Time and Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. I love fairy tales, like those kids stories by the Brothers Grimm, Hans Christian Andersen. Which other authors did I miss? But pretty much everything on Once Upon a Time. It's just, bro, cool. It's all in that one show. I just love it. I love it so much. It's such a great show. Love the storyline and everything. I even watched the spin-off called Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. It kind of mixes up with the Disney movies as well, like the characters from those books. Although technically Disney movies also come from like classic literature, so it's not really ripping off from those. Unless they have some sort of permission, then in that case, yes. But I don't know that much facts. So, another really great show. So sad that it ended. When I used to have Tumblr, I followed this page that talks about Once Upon a Time theories. And I just like how they connect the the current storyline to like their theories based on the original stories. Is it still active? Okay. Oh, the last time they uploaded was like 2 years ago. And it's really cool. I'm just it's so interesting because it kind of makes more sense when you read the theories, although since they're just theories, you're not really sure if they're real. So can't really I'm probably gonna read this after this recording, so I'm just gonna not complete my sentences and leave you guys hanging. No, that's just me. But it's worth watching if you're somebody who grew up with those fairy tale stories. And if you're more of like a Disney or DreamWorks kind of, you have those shows and cartoons growing up, Once Upon a Time would be something that interests you. I hope. And then last but not least, we have Revolution. And the only reason why I put it last is to sort of tie it up with this whole theme of what's been going on with the world lately and all the calamities and natural disasters. So to give you like a quick synopsis of what Revolution is about, it's a world where there's no more technology and electricity or like new forms of energy. It's like everybody goes back to the Thoreauvian era. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that word, Thoreauvian. I'm just quickly googling, but basically being Thoreauvian is like living in a cabin in the middle of the woods without your mobile devices or just some form of technology. So your light source is like fire, or you pump water by hand, or everything that's just manual. No technology, no internet, no nothing. That's basically what Revolution is about. And it's sad that there was only 2 seasons. And when things were getting good, they discontinued the show. And that really sucks because I actually like that show. I watched that back in Malaysia. And like, it kind of connects back to the other day when we ran out of electricity. And how we can completely survive without the gadgets we have today, and that the gadgets we have today, we just become so dependent on them, so it feels like we can't live without them, but we actually can. We just become so reliant on the convenience, on the instant gratification that it gives us, so it feels like such an essential for us. But living that one day without electricity just reminds me of how important it is to have food on the table, to keep cold or to keep warm when you need to just have like some source of light, whether it's a candle or just a flashlight, or if you don't have a flashlight, just like a pit of fire or something. And that you'd be able to live either way. You'd be able to survive even if you don't have money. If you can grow your own crops, or if you could fish, or if you could have those like quote unquote caveman skills, you'd survive this world without needing anything from this world of consumerism that we live in. Okay, that just escalated a little bit like too quickly for my liking, and I guess the energy spike isn't really gonna do anyone any good, considering how we're about to end this episode and my dog is just barking continuously on the background, so I might as well just end it. So you know the drill, you know where to find me. I'm on Anchor, YouTube, and Instagram at Ceterox. That's ETCETEROX, but only if you want to, of course. So that's it. I've reached the end of my thinking capacity. Let me know your thoughts and takeaways. In the meantime, till next time.